In my last video, I was settling in for the night after a walk in Carolina Beach State Park in North Carolina. But first thing in the morning, I was on the road again. Now, it wouldn't seem fair to only show the state park and not the surrounding coastal strip known as Pleasure Island, so I took a drive up to Fort Fisher. As a rusty old barge gets towed into the Cape Fear River, the seagulls were content to cruise for fish along the breakers. They didn't seem to catch many fish, but I'm sure at least some of them ended up with a bad headache. These two knew better and stayed in a warm, sheltered spot. Now this pier at Curie Beach looks awfully familiar. I think it's the one you always see in the news broadcasts when a hurricane blows in the East Coast. Although there was no hurricane today, I just didn't really feel up to a swim. I'm sure these beaches are full in July, but in January, it's only for the brave. And these fishermen were as brave as you can get. But I was looking for a little more warmth. So after I passed over the Cape Fear Bridge, I headed south to South Carolina. After bypassing the tourist joints, I found a sandy road that led me through the trees. Wow, this is so nice. Look at this place. So cool. Yeah, I just can't believe it. I mean, how much do you think I paid for something like this? Like, easily, you know, parked right in an area like this could go for like 50, 60 bucks in some places. But you know what I paid? Nothing! This is a free campsite in South Carolina. And it's spacious. Like this whole section I've got to myself. There's hiking trails. It's a coastal reserve, so there's hiking trails right into the marshes and the inlets. Awesome! I'm totally gonna love this place. The only catch is, well, there's two. One, it's a hunting area sometimes, so you got to be careful. And the second is you can only stay here for 4 days. There are places in South Carolina you can stay for 2 weeks, but this one's only 4 days. But it's going to be an awesome 4 days. Look at this sun. It's t-shirt weather. I love it. This is the Santee Coastal Reserve, managed by the Department of Natural Resources. It is 24,000 acres of wetlands that border the Santee River as it empties out into the Atlantic. An area that was once plantation rice fields has been slowly taken back by nature. The marshlands are filled with the rustle of tall grasses and the songs of migratory birds. But it was the forest that first grabbed my attention. Okay, I have to admit, I am a bit of a tree hugger, but I just love this tree. I mean, look at it. It's magnificent. It's huge, it's massive, it's old, it's classic. To me, it's kind of like the classic tree of the South, from my perspective at least, you know, with the hanging moss and all that. But I had no idea what kind of tree it actually was. I mean, yeah, I could figure out it's a hardwood, but it's the leaves that really threw me off, because there's no leaves like this in the north until I started poking around the ground and I found one of these. It's an acorn. This is an oak tree. More specifically, it's a southern live oak. And yeah, it's been around for a while, and hopefully it's going to be around for hundreds more years to come. I love stuff like this. It's got a scientific name, which I believe I can pronounce. It's Quercus virginiana, which may mean the quirky Virginian, or maybe it's just because I'm a quirky vegetarian. I don't know. It's, for a northerner, it's quirky. I mean, that's just not an oak leaf to me, but it is a classic tree. I got a feeling there's a lot of things I'm going to find are different down here. I better do some exploring. There are many trails on the reserve, but I started out on the Marshland Trail, which includes a freshwater cypress swamp. It wasn't long until I discovered an unusual sight. The swamp in some areas had taken on an eerie sheen. The late-day sun made this even more pronounced, sending iridescent stripes across the water. Now you might think oil spill, which would be a terrible thing for a natural area. But in fact, this is a completely natural occurrence, as the cypress trees help to break down the natural oils in the decomposing vegetation. You see, nature can make even rot look beautiful. That night, a hazy moon peeked from behind the pine trees. But a new day glistened among the oaks. I had already arranged a special excursion that morning. At Garris Landing was a long pier stretching across the Cape Romaine Reserve. By 10 o'clock, the Coastal Expedition ferry boarded all passengers. As shorebirds scoured the oyster beds, bottlenose dolphins surfaced around the boat. After a 20-minute ride, the ferry prepared to dock. I was now on an island, and the only way off was the boat that just left. Look at that! Palm trees in the background. Bull's Island, Romaine refuge. Great for wildlife, I've heard a lot about it. Gonna have to see for myself though. Bull's Island, at 5,000 acres, is the largest of 4 barrier islands found within the Cape Romaine Natural Wildlife Reserve. It has multiple walking trails that will take you through maritime forests, freshwater ponds, brackish water wetlands, and lots of sandy beaches. And it's certainly a place that's really gone to the birds lately, but that's a good thing. Now you'd think an egret's favorite dance was shake your tail feather, but these two like to shake their booties. The bulrushes were a little dried up this time of year, so I headed for somewhere more colorful. As usual, I like to start with trails in the forest. One of those cardinal sins I always seem to break is when they say, please stay on the trail. I'm practicing, but haven't got there yet. And speaking of cardinals, this one's munching on berries. This fallen palm looks to me like an alligator. However, this alligator is trying to look like a fallen tree. I always think of a peacock when I see a palmetto. As I trampled under the palms, a clearing finally appeared. It was like opening a door to another world, as those vibrant greens gave way to shades of gray. They call this the boneyard. All the dead trees. Suggests it's barren and void of life, but it's not. This is where a once thriving forest has been taken back by the sea. Decades of driftwood have also piled up on the soft white ground. Their wrinkled trunks etched by waves, sand, and wind. The constant drone of the surf echoes the voices of the dead, while these ghoulish scarecrows stand like crucifixes as the sea lashes their roots. And strewn across the shore are the skeletons of other lost souls. Yet there is life amongst the dead, and with a careful eye, you'll find it. And life attracts life. Look quickly, and you'll see little goblins scurrying around the roots like mice in a granary. As fast as lightning, these piping plovers race across the beach looking for fast food. There's plenty of competition, which is why nobody wastes any time. The smorgasbord is hidden amongst the roots. It's a shorebird frenzy as they poke about for crustaceans, mollusks, insects, and larvae hidden amongst the crevices. The shoreline acts as a freeway for these hungry little birds, and it's amazing how many different species actually cruise this avian interstate. Without much human contact, it's like they don't even know you're there. I wish I could have stayed longer, but a ferry awaits. So I said goodbye to my skinny leg friends. Like those pelicans, it's time to fly. It's a little cool this morning, but nothing I can't handle. I think the trend is it's going up. It was above freezing, and that's the good thing. And I think for the next little while, it'll be a little warmer and a little warmer. Santee Coastal Reserve, definitely worth a stop. Stay a couple of nights. Beautiful trails, and it's January, and you can camp here. So you can camp all year round. Although I imagine the bugs are a little bit bad in the summertime, and it's probably a little warmer. I also got bit by 2 mosquitoes, so it's time to bring out the insect repellent. No ticks, however, but I'm always on the lookout. Anyway, this morning I'm taking off, gonna go somewhere new, and see what adventure awaits. I hope you enjoyed this video, and check out my others as well. I hope you'll follow as I continue to explore the Southeast states.